So we're here at the Disaster Recovery Center in Los Angeles. This has been the source of a lot of attention because every contractor, material delivery driver, anybody who's trying to get into the Palisades in order to do work in this recovery effort has to first come here and get a pass. Today we've got an engineer coming in from San Francisco, well-renowned engineer who's going to be helping us do some assessments on fire-damaged concrete, but I can't get him into the Palisades until we get him a pass, so we're going to get him a pass right now and just document some of the process that's going on here.
This is for residents. Sorry, sir, we have no media. You got to put the camera way down here.
Okay.
It's a FEMA rule, national. I need to put away all the way.
Okay. I got it.
All right, so there's been a lot of talk in the media about the difficulties getting in and out of Pacific Palisades in order to not only clean up, but do the rebuilding. Behind me is one of the checkpoints that everybody's griping about. Traffic is backed up on Sunset, probably 2 miles, and we're talking bumper to bumper traffic. So super slow getting in and out of here. It looks like today they've tried to open up another truck lane to allow some of the truckers hauling debris better access, but it's still down to 1 lane for contractors and material delivery, which slows things down drastically. So what we're hoping is that they'll come up with some kind of a digital system to where contractors can get pre-approved, verified that they're supposed to be in here, and they can move freely in and out of here. Because over the next year, 2 years, this is just not gonna work. 1 lane of traffic going in and out of the Palisades. So we're getting ready to head in here and check out some properties to do some structural analysis on fire damaged concrete. So Ashok, you just tell me a little bit about your background. You just flew in from the Bay Area, right?
Yes.
San Francisco, and what do you do?
Well, we are a civil structural engineering company who does forensic engineering in concrete structures. So any concrete structure that has any defect in it, we determine what caused it and how to fix it. So that's our main focus of our business.
That's the forensic aspect.
That's a forensic aspect.
So you're coming after there's been an event.
After there is an event.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Right. And you told me, so you were very experienced in Santa Rosa when the fires happened there. What exactly did you do there?
Well, when the fire happened, the Sonoma County asked us to give a lecture to the local community of engineers and architects to inform them what happens to the concrete and reinforcing steel inside concrete when fire hits it, and how do we determine if that concrete is safe enough to keep and reuse. So we gave a presentation, outlined all the science behind it, the testing methodologies, and how to do forensic investigation. And we want to propose testing program that will give highest confidence to both the owners, engineers, and contractors that whatever we say is a concrete that can be kept, we have high confidence in it too.
So behind me here, and we're going to check out a few properties today, but this is a residential property, but it has some huge basement walls, a lot of structural concrete. So can we take a look at it and you tell me what you see and what you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. You can also see, a lot of steel here, right? And I'm assuming a lot of the damages to the concrete has to do with how hot the steel gets and expands. Is that correct?
One of them, yes. So what I see here is this pool slab seems to be in good condition, hasn't seen much fire. The steel structure usually get distorted because it is directly affected by fire in high temperatures, make square columns, round columns because of the hot air. So I can see a lot of steel structure that cannot be reused, so that has to be recycled. The concrete walls, they do have spalling, which means the concrete on the surface is kind of chipped off, so to say. And that indicates the water in that concrete became steam. And the steam wanted to come out and it spalled the concrete so that it can escape. Concrete is basically trying to protect itself by giving up the water in the form of steam. So many of those structures which are spalled like that can be saved depending on how deep the damage is.
So in some places, like you can see in here, it's spalled to the point where now the rebar is exposed. Does that still fall in within that category that you were just describing where it may be okay?
Well, it adds an extra component there. When the steel is exposed, the steel experienced fire. And when steel experiences fire, it can become non-ductile. And there can be a reduction in the tensile strength of the steel. So that particular steel or the steel for that wall needs to be checked, tested in order to determine the present strength of that steel along with the concrete and the depth of fire damage. The amount of spalling and exposure of the wall reinforcement indicates it really was exposed to intense fire for a long time. That reinforcement and concrete really need to be tested for a variety of things. So microscopy is one test where we in-house in our laboratory, we take the core, cut it and polish it, and then analyze how far in from the wall surface the fire damage has gone in. So that helps us understand how much repair is necessary in order to keep this wall.
Are you seeing anything? I read some of your articles that you've published where you talk about coloring being an indicator. Do you see anything here?
Well, I see that pink color over there. It's a very small section of this wall.
Right here, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would indicate that section of the wall probably reached 1,000 Fahrenheit.
To what temperature can concrete withstand and not totally lose its integrity?
Well, that temperature is reasonably high. It's something like 2,500 degree Fahrenheit. That's when the cement paste would decompose. I think most of the walls here are tall. That's a good thing because there is more concrete that can be saved as opposed to shallow foundations.
So what would be likely, I know you can't determine this until you've done your analysis, but what would be a likely course of action would be you'd probably have to cut a section off of the top of the foundation all the way around and re-pour it?
That would be one of my suggestions, yes.
All right, let's check out another property.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so this is a little bit different type of structure.
It is.
This was, I believe it was a 3-story apartment building resting on top of this concrete parking structure.
Yeah.
The whole thing above burned down, but the parking structure is still remaining, and we need to see if this needs to be taken out and redone or if it's okay as is.
When I walk into a project like this is an excellent project that we came to. This concrete, on a visual aspect, looks excellent. It almost feels like the fire has not touched it. And this is a good example for saving. Primarily from the underside, the columns, the beams, the underside of the slab does not show fire damage. It has other damages from, say, water leak, but not from fire. What is important here from the testing point of view is the 3-story condominium complex, which is primarily wood, has burned and has fallen down on top of the slab. That slab has seen constant temperature at a very high temperature because it's burning wood. And I don't know how long.
Coals and embers just for a long time.
And we don't know how long it was burning. So testing and investigating the slab, deflection of this slab beam combination is important here.
And the debris, it looks like, is just far too thick for you to be able to actually see the slab. This is all going to need to be cleaned up first.
Yeah, definitely. I think once this is cleaned up, we will have a better idea how much fire damage has been sustained by this slab. Looking at this wall, the walls doesn't seem to have much. Seems to be in reasonably good condition, but the slab will have some fire-related damage, especially spalling. But this is a kind of structure with structural beams and columns is a good candidate for saving.
Yeah, I mean, to rebuild something like this parking structure, would be $500,000 easy.
Oh,
More.
Absolutely, and the repair could be a fraction of that. In-place repair after investigation. We all must save when we can.
Yep. All right, so we're here at another type of property. This is really your typical home that you see with just regular in-ground footings, short stem walls, and it looks like the homeowner has left these in place. I don't know if that's because they plan on reusing it or what the thought process is here, but a lot of people do want to reuse their foundation, and as we can see here, it does not look like that's going to be possible. What do you see?
Well, what I see is if we look at back there in the corner, you can see a lot of anchor bolts which are colored and they're all bent. And you can't reuse bent anchor bolts, especially the ones which are bent so much that if you try to straighten it, it may lose the bond with concrete. And if you lose the bond with concrete, then it is no good for seismic reasons. So if you have an earthquake, it's no good. So trying to save them will be a bad idea. My recommendation against my business interest is not to do any testing and investigation. Don't spend money on us. Get brand new foundation. It will last you longer.
Yeah, and I can tell you from a construction perspective, if someone hired me as a builder to come in here and retrofit this foundation, I'd be pulling my hair out. How difficult it would be to try and work around this. It's probably going to be crumbling as you're trying to work. The scope of work is just going to be growing as you go. And for those of you who haven't had your lots cleared yet, you have to factor this all in. This time is money in construction more so than maybe anything else. And this is going to slow you down big time. So if you have the opportunity, whether it's through the Corps of Engineers or a private contractor, to get all of this out at once and not have to come back at a future date and try and remove this, it's going to be in your better interest. You're going to save money just in time, not even considering material there too, but just in the time and frustration to try and work around this, you'll save a ton of money and a lot of headaches.
I agree, 100%. I think you said it correctly.
So we've looked at a few different kinds of properties today. All of them have a little bit different structural component. Based on what we've seen, what would you say is your broad analysis of what type of foundation should stay, what should go?
The first one was a residential foundation, but had tall walls. And the tall walls generally experience some spalling on the surface, but they are worth saving. The second project was a condominium structure. It had all the debris from the fire on top of it. That particular structure is worth saving. That's an excellent candidate for saving the structure. There was no sign of any fire on the underside of that slab, beam, columns, and those are important, and they cost a lot of money to rebuild. So if the repair is limited to the top of the slab, then the cost of repair will be minimal and the savings will be huge. And this is the third one that we just saw. This is a typical shallow foundation with stem walls. They are 2-3 feet tall, and some of them are already damaged during the cleaning of the site. Anchor bolts and hold downs are bent over. So my recommendation on this third home would be, or a similar home would be, start over again. Don't waste money on people like me, and save that money to rebuild the foundation. You will have a better, longer lasting foundation.
All right, so it's been about 90 days since the fire, and there are still thousands of lots to be cleared of their fire debris. If you're just getting started in this process and you're starting from square one, give us a call. We can handle your fire debris privately. Or if you're somebody who had the Corps of Engineers clear your lot, but it looks like this one behind me here, where there's still tons of concrete and flat work to be removed before you can start building, give us a call. We can take care of that too. And I'm excited to announce through LA Rebuilders Network, we're going to be giving away one free lot, just like the one you see behind me here, where we will come in and clean up after the Corps of Engineers and take away everything that they left behind for free. So if you want to sign up for that and be the winner, Go to larebuildersnetwork.com, fill out the form, and we'll be drawing a name to do one of these lots for free.